Hello everyone, this is Diane. We're going to be working on some ephemera for these lace-up paper doll journals. And, sorry, I was just taking my jacket off. So I am working, I said I would be taking my time on these, and I have been. So I've been doing some pages in my journal, and then I will kind of at the same time be working on the other journals. So I've gotten some pages made. And I showed you the making of this page with the lunch bag built out to fill in the scrapbook page, because it's I'm making them like 7 inches wide, and so I needed 14 inches of paper. So there's a video showing how I put this on the page and then covered it up with this pocket and built this all up. So this took a lot of time, this one page, because it's got 4 surfaces with a lot going on. But I did make the pages for the other 2 journals. And so then I have just a children's book page, which I didn't do anything to, just a nice big children's book page. And a ledger page that I folded up the bottom. So then I just added some stamped images that I had in my stash to decorate it with. And I don't know what I'm going to do with that. Maybe I'll just, I don't know. It's paper clip there, but I use the paper clips to hold these pieces in place. So these pieces are also stamped images that I had in my stash. I just glued them on. And then these were just items I tucked in. I didn't have to make any of that. And on this scrapbook paper, I made this. So this is what we're going to start with today, making something like that. And I also built this page out with a vintage printer's advertising card. And I have 2 more cards. They're all different. They all have a different design. So I have these 2 cards that I can use, but we're not building out pages today. I have these pieces saved for another video where I can make pages with you. So I just glued digital paper, and you'll see that being done in a different video. And this is just an advertisement, vintage ad that I glued to some paper. And the other things are just tucked in. So we're going to make those today too. And then we're going to make this tuck spot. It has a vintage card and a yearbook photo from the 50s. And I don't think we have anything to make here. We'll add these to the pages when we're doing that. And I can make this pocket and another tag. And I think that's, oh, this tag goes somewhere. Oh, here. So we do have quite a bit to do in this video. I don't know if I'll have time to do it all. So we better get busy. I did do the gluing of items to these ledger pages. But I'll just set these aside. And then we'll make what we need to make today. I have a lot of prep work done. So for this first item, this is a digital page. It was left over from the Dream Swan. And this is from Pixie Dust Files. Shabby lined papers, I think. So it was printed on just paper, and I didn't print anything on the back. So that's going to be the bottom page. And I just have this scrap of blue lined paper. And this ledger paper that was sprayed with some ink. And a scrap of just scrapbook paper that I can glue this little girl to, and she can just be the decoration on the front. And you'll be able to flip these pages up and write on those pages. I want to not put her too close to the top because this will go over the whole top of everything. So if I put her pretty close to the bottom, she'll be fine. So what are you all doing today? Are you working on a craft project? It is May, I think it's 13th today. I think it's either the 12th or the 13th, and it's still cool. We'll be warming up by the end of the week. We're having a cool May, and I don't mind that at all. Like we had frost one morning, at least one morning this week. I don't need to glue these down. I'm just going to put this on. This is just a piece of brown, I think it was used for packing, the packing paper. And I'm just going to use my stapler. Oh, that went down. And then you can just lift the things up and write. You've got lots of writing room. And this will be attached to a page. Right now I'm just making the ephemera. And that was quick, so we'll do the other one. This one has a yellow page. It's bigger. And grid, real thin architects or engineers grid paper. It was on a big roll when I bought it. I don't have a lot left. So I just need to cut this smaller. Very quick and easy element to add some writing space to a page. So the next element, these are all done. I don't need to do anything here. The next element will be this one. I've got quite a few long pages that I pulled out, but I don't have to do all of them. And I have these lined pages, printed pages that have other like collage elements on them. I've had them printed for a while, so I decided I would use them to back my pieces. That's what this is. And it was long, the page was long, so I added just a scrap of lined paper. So I'll just choose a couple of these. Now, I'm going to use my page to see if this is too wide. Nope, that works. Okay, let's do another one. I can trim a little off of this. Yeah, once I trim that, that'll be fine. So those are the two we will do today. I have to trim off some of that pretty border. And then I'll just glue it to the back of one of these. And I won't have to add a paper to the bottom. In fact, I'll have to trim a little off. This one isn't as long. Not quite wide enough for two, but this will definitely be used for something else. So those are two quick ones. I think the next one will take a little bit longer. All right, so the next one is going to be this pocket. And I have to select what I want to use because I just pulled a bunch of stuff. I think those are for the tag to go inside the pocket. So I have yearbook pictures. The elements of the pocket are a yearbook picture and a card. That's pretty cool. An introduction to NBC. This is a ink blotter with some kind of a chart on it. So I could cut that and make it. I don't want to cut, these are a little bit too big for this. But I have this, which was a score pad for bridge. And I thought that was really pretty. I could just use either the front or the back and make a pretty pocket. I think I'll do that, and I'll use this one. And some of these elements are going to be used to decorate the page. So I'll just keep them all together. So to make this pocket with one of these pictures added to it, I glued my pieces to a piece of cardstock. This is pretty thick. It's already glued to cardstock. I don't want it to be super, super thick. Oops, I bumped you. I can lay it, it's a little crooked, but I can lay it there because I'm going to put a ruffle over it. They're the right width together. These two pictures have a quote, "The windows of my soul I throw wide open to the sun," John Greenleaf Whittier. And she chose, "But I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep." And they're both poets. John Greenleaf Whittier and Robert Frost. And then I will sew around this with black thread like I did here, and then I will add a ruffle to it. So it really doesn't take long, except for adding the sewing element and making the ruffle. I'll be using a lot of vintage items in these journals. I'll have to put a thin washi tape or something right here. It goes this way. That end of it will be covered with the ruffle. I'm going to put a little piece of this. I like the color with that right on the end here where it wasn't quite wide enough. And I'll just wrap it around. Yeah. I'm going to have to sew through it. It's just a little piece, so hopefully it'll be okay. Okay, just have to do the sewing on those and they're ready. And then I want to make the tag to go inside that tuck spot. going to make this tag a little wider. On this one, there was white space on the edge of this ad, so I added that, which I like. So I'm going to make this a little bit wider, and I'll add a color strip of Border Punch cardstock there. Oh, that wasn't good. So I'm going to have to cover that edge because I crumpled that all up. The glue wasn't dry yet. And the cardstock is, or the paper is old. Okay, now I need a strip of cardstock to make the decorative edging. Just the right length. Just take off a tiny bit. Okay, so I will add these to the edge, and then I'll come back with the next project. Okay, That's what they look like with their borders on them. Next, I have a pocket to make. This is cardstock with crochet on top. So I chose some pieces. I have one more piece like this. This was cut from this piece. So I have that, and I could use this end of it, but I thought I would use this one for the second one, or the third one. And these are just pieces to choose from to decorate it. They're digitals. I have my cardstock already cut. And I can cut right along that line. I'm adding the glue where it's closely woven, and then these little flowery spots here, I can drop glue on those. Now I will trim the cardstock to match my crochet piece. And I will have to wait for the glue to dry, but I will sew around the edges. All right, now I want to add a digital to these. I don't want to cover up too much of the doily. Just clip these back together so they don't get spread all over my table. I'm going to sew around that with black thread before I glue it down. And this one I don't need to. And then I will sew all around the pockets, but they're cute, aren't they? So then we need a tag to go in the pocket. Where'd they go? I have some backgrounds already made. Uh-oh. Where'd they go? I took big tags and covered them with music paper. But where'd I put the tags? Here they are. They're buried under this pile of goodies. While I was looking for some sort of ad to put on these tags, I pulled out some of these bigger pieces that I might back with cardstock and just tuck in as a journal card. So these are things I thought would be fun for that. Okay. Now these, I've got photos to use and these ads. And I have this little box with these price stickers. They are vintage. I bought them on eBay quite some time ago, and I just found them while I was looking for stuff. I forgot about them. This is really cute. This little nurse advertising mentholatum. I don't know if I'll use these or not. Maybe I'll just use some brightly colored vegetables. And then I'm going to add a photo. This one has old tape on it. These are some servicemen standing by a car. It's got lots of old tape on it. These were all taped to a poster board or something. Okay, so I have to do some sewing, and I will come right back to show you what they look like with the sewing done on them. I'm back, and now I can show you the finished items that we made. I came down and did the stitching. So this is one of the pockets, and here is another one. Really fun with the crochet. And some tags made with vintage music paper, vintage magazine images, and vintage photos from the 40s. And old tape too. I will add some ribbon or something there. The 2 tuck spots with the ruffles, and then these will be the tags that get tucked into them. And these were completed in the video. And then I just stitched around these, and they will be folded up and tucked into a pocket. More work yet to be done, so I'll be back to show you some more. Thanks for watching today. I hope you're having a creative day. And what's your favorite from what we made today? I'd like to know. I'll see you in the next video. Have a creative day. Bye.